List, 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 list. Hi guys, it's Misty and welcome back to my channel. This video is my weekly what sold on eBay for the week of March 16th through the 22nd. I was really surprised with this week. I know that a lot of people have been struggling with their sales, but honestly, my sales were up this past week. I don't know if it's a combination of people being bored or a combination of, you know, that people's jobs were still intact and now they're just kind of slowly, unfortunately, closing, which is an unfortunate thing. But, you know, I went into this week with the mindset of I'm just going to keep listing. I'm going to list. It's what I have to do. I'm going to list my death piles, get them listed, and when all of this is over, I'll have a stocked shop. But honestly, I keep selling things. So, I mean, that's a good problem to have, but it was very, very unexpected. So I guess the point in me saying this is don't stop listing. Keep listing. You must at least stock your shop when all of this is over. Reselling will be, will pick up again, and it gives you something to do to get your mind off things. Stop watching the news for a little while and just start listing things that you have. List your death piles. Once you're done with your death piles, since we can't go sourcing, clean out your closets. Look for things around your home that you're okay with listing and selling. You got to keep your store active. So I will go ahead and show you the things that have been selling for me. I will say though, I have ran a 25% off sale on certain items, and I have done a few auctions. I only sold one thing on an auction, and we'll talk about that later in the video. But think about running a promotion. I know that eBay has just given everybody, if you have an eBay store, they've given you extra listings during this time. So take advantage of that and keep on listing. Keep on listing. That's what you need to do. If anything, it just keeps your mind off all of the craziness that's going on in the world right now. So I will go ahead and show you what sold for me last week on eBay. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Sellers Hub like we always do. And you can see here, my total sales last week were 1,179, and my sales were up 230.4%. Steady stream of sales each week, especially on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And let's go ahead and talk about the things that sold for me last week. I'm going to start with kind of the lower priced things. Like I said, you will notice that I did sell a lot of lower priced items, but these are things that I've had in my inventory for a very, very long time. And what I did is I just brightened up the picture using the new eBay whitening background tool that you can use. You can usually I think that you could only do it on your phone, your mobile app. It doesn't allow you to take the white background on your PC, at least as of yet. I see that possibly maybe changing. But these were Hallmark invitations, vintage, from the 70s, 60s, well, probably from the 70s, early 80s. I paid 99 cents a piece for these, and they sold on a 25% off sale for $5.25, and the buyer paid shipping. But they're gone, and these I probably would only buy again if I could sell a lot of them. Like if I had 6 or 7 packages and sell them in one lot. That might be worth it, but this to me wasn't worth buying again. Okay, and another piece of clothing. Now I had one auction that actually sold. I listed a bunch of clothing that I've had for a very long time as auctions to try to move them. Started them at $6 a piece, and I only sold this Lucky Brand women's cotton cream blue embroidered v-neck shirt in a size small. I've had this for a very long time, and I'm no longer purchasing clothing pieces like this. All right, I did sell a bunch of Hot Wheels. Now we have these Hot Wheels that we've had for a very long time in our death pile. My husband had taken the pictures of all of them, but for some reason we didn't get them listed. These sold, we've almost sold every single one that we have listed. Some of them were the Redlines. You can see here the Redlines are the little red lines that are on the tires. They some of them were vintage, some of them weren't, but you know, we got the entire box of them, I want to say for $10 at a yard sale. So we've done very well with these, even though we're only selling them for, you know, 11, 12, some of them a little bit more money each, but you know, we bought the whole lot of them for $10, so we have been making our money. They're easy to take pictures of, easy to ship. So we do tend to look for these, and we can get them in a lot. And even if we see a few good ones in here, we'll still go ahead and pick them up. This one was a Chase Hot Wheels Classics Chase Studebaker Redline Reel Riders. And it sold for $11.37, and the buyer paid shipping. Here's another one. This was a Chase 8 Crate Redline. This one sold for $9.37, and the buyer paid shipping. This next one is a Hammer Sled Chase Classic Series 5 Black with Reel Riders. This one sold for $9.77, and the buyer paid shipping. This one was a 65 Pontiac Bonneville Reel Riders. And it sold for $13.37, and the buyer paid shipping. Then I also have a John Deere lawnmower air filter. I picked this up at Goodwill for 99 cents. What attracted it to me was it was brand new in the package, never opened. I did do free shipping on this one. I'm slowly updating my listings, and I'm not charging, or I'm not doing free shipping. Some of them kind of will get by you sometimes, and this one did. It did sell for $15 on a 25% off sale with free shipping. The next item is this cute little vintage giraffe, a made in Japan porcelain ceramic figurine. This one I picked up at Goodwill, I believe for 99 cents, or it was at a thrift store. I don't know. I know I paid $1 at least for it, or at the most for it. I bought it because I'd never really seen vintage giraffes. You know, you see a lot of other animals, but you don't see giraffes very often. And it was marked Japan on the bottom. And this one sold very, very fast. Within a day of me listing it, it sold for $14.50, and the buyer paid shipping. These cards, my dad had bought, he paid $15 for this entire big lot of playing cards. A lot of them were brand new, sealed. You can see here they were sealed in the package. These were from United Airlines, and you'll see a couple more lots that we have sold. But like I said, he paid $10 for the entire box of these playing cards, and I kind of lotted them out and put similar ones together. These United Airlines that are sealed, there's one Royal Pacific deck right there, sold for $15.99, and the buyer paid shipping. Here's another Hot Wheel. This one is a 47 Chevy Fleetline Redline Reel Riders. Reel Riders is just the series of of these cars. They're kind of like a vintage looking car. I'm not sure what the date was on these, but you can see here, short and sweet. My husband actually made this listing. I would have put like next day shipping, smoke-free home, but he didn't put that in here, and you don't have to, but I just kind of get into a routine of putting certain things that I want to in my listings. But this one sold for $11.37, and the buyer paid shipping. Another Hot Wheel here. This is a Tucker Torpedo Chrome Reel Riders. And it sold for $13.73, and the buyer paid shipping. This one here is a 1975 Yellow Flames Inferno Drag Car Dragster. It sold for $15.99, and the buyer paid shipping. Now, with a lot of these Hot Wheels too, you may notice they're not in perfect condition. You can see here there is, you know, flaws on this. It's been played with. The chrome is a little discolored, but a lot of times it doesn't matter. These can be very highly collectible, especially the ones from the 70s, the 80s, and before. So, you know, when you're able to go source again, or if you just look through your child's Hot Wheel cards, maybe you've got some at yard sales and you just kind of go through them. If they're not playing with them anymore, look through them. On the bottom it tells you, let me see if I can find a picture. On the bottom it'll tell you exactly what it is. You can just, you know, type in it said Inferno on the front, 1975 Hot Wheels drag car, and you'll be able to pull up comps. And as you can see here, this one even had a wonky wheel. You see that wheel there on the top? But, you know, it still sold for $15.99, and the buyer paid shipping. This was something that I recently picked up. It was a 1995 Scooby-Doo Hanna-Barbera plastic juice mug with lid. I paid 99 cents for this at Goodwill. It sold for $10.25, and the buyer paid shipping. This sold pretty quickly, within a week. The next item is a Siete, which I'm probably saying it wrong like I always do, London Fierce Flicks Liquid Eyeliner in black. This came from a FabFitFun box. I wasn't going to do this. I like my liquid liner from Dollar Tree. That's just fine with me, and that's what I use. And this one sold for $11.99 on the 25% off sale, and the buyer paid shipping. This next item is something that I picked up just because it was pretty. I tried to figure out who this signature was, and I could never find it. So it's just a Studio Pottery clay drip glaze. It's 3.6-inch hand-thrown stoneware artist signed bowl. That's how I listed it. It's very, very pretty. And it had this swirl glaze, and you can see here I used a black background because if you have a lighter colored item, it's important to not let it blend in with your background. And this picture right here was actually with the bowl on a black background, and I used the eBay background remover to make it crisp and white, and it does make it stand out. And as soon as I did that, within a couple days, this sold. I had it for a little while, and it sold right after I made the clear, crisp, white background. And sometimes you have to play around with it because it doesn't work on everything. You can see here there's still just a little bit of black outline, but I couldn't get it all the way through. But I think it still makes it stand out a lot better than just having it on the black background. The white background does help. It does help you show up in a Google search as well. So make sure that you, if at all possible, that you're just using a plain white background in your pictures. Here is another Hot Wheel. This one's a little bit better. This one is an Aston Martin DB4 GT Zagato Blue Real Riders. It sold for $24.73, and the buyer paid shipping. Next piece is something that I had for a while. It's a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, brand new, sealed in the package. Sold on a 25% off sale for $14.44, and the buyer paid for shipping. These little birds. I pretty much made my money back on these birds. However, I just couldn't leave them behind. This is one of those things that you buy it and you think, oh, I probably overpaid for it. I'm probably just going to get my money back out of it. And that's pretty much what I did. Because I think I paid $3 a piece for these. But I did keep some of them, and these are just the 4 that I decided to sell. But they're these little made in Occupied Japan porcelain birds. They were all marked Occupied Japan on the bottom. They sold pretty fast, but they did sell on the 25% off sale for $16.88, and the buyer paid shipping. This next item is let me pull it up so you can see. It's a vintage Griswald cast iron ashtray skillet, or a matchbook holder. And these were the numbers that were on it. It was made in Erie, Pennsylvania. Sold for $20.24 on a 25% off sale, and the buyer paid shipping. And this was just a little cast iron ashtray, and you can see it was marked Griswold there on the bottom, which is a highly collectible name for cast iron collectors. The next item is a unique antique vintage Biography carved wooden trinket box with this geisha girl on it. Biography is basically the art of wood burning. This was a cute little box, and I don't know if it was just like a trinket box or maybe a sewing box, and it had this beautiful Asian design all over it. You can see there on the side it was almost like a basket weave. It was a really pretty piece. The bottom had a little bit of wear on it, and I believe the hinge didn't clasp all the way. And it did sell for $24.50, and the buyer paid shipping. Now you can see here the clasp was missing. Very good condition, normal wear with the age of the piece. So just kind of still a simple listing or simple description in with these listings. This sold within a week's time. The next item is a Le Creuset. I'm probably saying it wrong again, like I always do. Small round teapot. This was a recent pick that I did from Goodwill. I believe I paid $2.99 for it. Now, here's the deal, and I brought this up on the haul video that this was in, that it did not have the diffuser. I saw the diffuser on the shelf and thought, oh, that's a teapot diffuser, not even thinking that it's going to go with this. So it's supposed to have a little diffuser that fits in here, like to strain the tea. And you can see here in the description, or in the listing, I put no diffuser. The teapot itself was in excellent condition, so not having the diffuser does hurt it a little bit, but I did sell it for $19.95 and the buyer paid shipping. The next item is this Dr. Dennis Gross Lotion Alpha Beta for the Body Self-Tanning Lotion. I bought a case of these at a yard sale. I want to say I paid $15 for the entire case. I'm still selling them. They're sealed, brand new sealed. They're not expired, and this one sold for $12 on 25% off sale, and this one did ship free. It did ship first class. This sold very, very quickly. This cute little vintage Rio Hondo goat ceramic pottery figurine. It did have the label on the back there, and it was a little faded, but it still was there. It had this really great crazing on it, which I like. It sold for $19.95 and the buyer paid shipping. I paid 99 cents for this at Goodwill. Actually, I paid 50 cents for it because it was marked 99 cents and I got it on half price day. I love Rio Hondo. Rio Hondo is a pottery that, it's a California pottery, but a lot of times you'll see these eyelashes, and it's just the way you'll just be able to look at it and know that it's Rio Hondo. I myself really like Rio Hondo, and I've never seen the goat one before, so I thought that it might be a pretty good piece to pick up, especially for 50 cents. All right, the next item is something that I did pay up for. I think I paid $3.99 for this at Goodwill. It's a Harley Davidson Turvis tumbler with a bar and shield. It's a 16 ounce. It was brand new. It still had the tag on the bottom. It still had the paper work on the inside. It sold for $24.50 and the buyer paid shipping. The next item is a vintage Chromex cookie canister, the spun aluminum mid-century modern cookie jar, sold for $24.50 and the buyer paid shipping. And I mean, it had some condition issues. It had a little bit of paint splatter on there, and I think it had a little bit of cracking in the lid. And you know, you just have to make sure that you do mark everything that's wrong with it. There are some dings and scratches from use. There's also a few small green paint splatters on it. I have not tried to polish it or clean it in any way, which I normally don't. I let the buyer do that because sometimes the buyer wants it just the way that it is, and I'll just note that in the listing. Okay, the next item is this vintage 1978 Neil the Frog cast iron tile trivet wall hanging. This one sold pretty quick. It sold for $21 and the buyer paid shipping. I think I picked this up for either $1.99 or $2.99 at Goodwill. And you can see there it's marked Sears and Roebuck. These are pretty popular. They do make canisters and napkin holders, all kinds of things in this Neil the Frog. It's the same line that made the Merry Mushroom set. So both of these typically do pretty well when you can find them for a good price. The next item is a 1929 Defiance Ginger Spice tin. It had the original paper label in it. It was manufactured in Coldwater, Michigan. I sometimes like to put that, if I can, in the title where it was made, because sometimes collectors will collect tins from certain states or certain areas. Sometimes they'll collect them just because they have a night on them, and so I made sure that I put that in the listing as well. Also, they'll just collect ginger spice tins. So this is kind of a cross collectible in many areas, and it sold for $25.50 and the buyer paid shipping. The next item are these vintage Rooster Hen chicken condiment set, salt and pepper shakers, sugar and creamer set. I actually sold these once on one of my live sales, and the buyer never paid, so I went ahead and put them up on eBay, and they sold on a 25% off sale for $21.74. And the buyer paid shipping. And you can see here, I took the picture on a black background and then used the background remover to make it a nice, crisp, clean background. And I think it did help them sell. So it's just something to play around with. The next item is something that I had in my drawer for a very long time. I was actually thinking I was going to save it for future grandchildren, but I just decided I was just going to go ahead and sell it. It is a vintage Oneida 6-piece progress set. It's just baby forks and spoon, like a graduating set. Brand new in the package. It's never been used. I picked it up years ago at a Goodwill for 99 cents. And it sold pretty quickly for $26.75 and the buyer paid shipping. The next item is also something from my FabFitFun box. It is this West Elm 3 tie-dye indigo bowls, little nesting bowls, sold on a 25% off sale for $27.38 and the buyer paid shipping. Next item is a game that I actually had at the shop and decided to list on eBay. It's a game called Culling All Cards. It's a board game made by Parker Brothers in 1938. It was complete. All of the pieces were there. The instructions were there. The spinner was there. The game pieces were there. The box was in great shape. It had a lot going for it. And it sold for $32.50 and the buyer paid shipping. The next item is something that I picked up after an auction for free. I didn't pay anything for it. Somebody had a box full of stuff that they didn't want. And like I say all the time, I stick around to the end of an auction when I can go. And I will look through and take what I want. It helps the auctioneer out because then they don't have to haul it away. But it was this Annette Funicello Musketeer bear made by Disney. It was the Annette Funicello. You know, she was one of the original Musketeers. She has a whole line of bears, and this one was the Wednesday bear. It sold for $55 and the buyer paid shipping. It did come with the original box. It had the original tags on it as well. Had it for a little while, but I picked it up for free and still sold it for $55, so I cannot complain. The next item is another set of cards. These are, again, the car lot that Dad had picked up at a flea market. And actually, I was like, Dad, I don't want to sell all these cards, but, you know, Dad was right. He paid $10 for the entire lot, and I still have more to list. These were pretty unique. They were WGN. You can see someone had written WGN on them. And you can see here that it says WGN all along there. WGN Television, Channel 9. These are also, the red ones also say WGN Television. WGN was based out of Chicago. And I'm not sure why Bugs Bunny was on there other than WGN played some Bugs Bunny cartoons. But I know Bozo was on there because Bozo was filmed in Chicago and he was on the WGN channel. So these were all three cards were sealed in the package and they sold rather quickly within a day of me listing them. I did put, I ended up running a sale and these got on that sale and they sold for $31.88 and the buyer paid shipping. So that was a great buy. So good job, Dad, on buying the cards. And they were easy to list, easy to ship. I just didn't think that they were going to bring that much, but I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay, this next item is a Toffle Sweetest Has-Beens clogs. These I picked up at Goodwill for $4.50 and I sold them for $46.75 and the buyer paid shipping. You get, you know, I do still buy shoes and resell shoes, but I'm very picky about the shoes that I buy. You can just kind of go through and tell when a shoe is very well made, and I could tell that these were, so I went ahead and did a look for sales comps on them, and I sold that the sell-through rate was very well with these, and so I wanted to grab them and try them, and I would definitely pick up this brand again. Let me see if I can get a screenshot of the brand. You can see there it's Toffel. And they're made in, there we go, Swedish Has-Beens, designed in Sweden. So these were a good buy. And they were in really good condition as well. Okay, the next item is a vintage soda fountain countertop ice cream cone holder. It's made by Traco from Dallas, Texas, and it sold for $41.62 on a 25% off sale, and the buyer paid shipping. This was basically an ice cream cone holder for a soda fountain shop. Pretty unique piece, actually. The next item is this vintage peacock beaded velvet mid-century modern art wall hanging. It was beautiful, really. It had sequins and beads and patches, no glass on it, so it wasn't too bad to ship. I mean, it was a big thing to package up. I did sell it for $49.20 on a 25% off sale. I believe I paid $2 for this at an auction, and so it was a good buy. The next item is a vintage Wright and McGill Trailmaster Eagle Claw M4 TMUL mini Forellis 6.5-inch rod. It was a fly fishing rod, basically. It broke down and it was kept in this little aluminum bag. You can see here it was Eagle Claw. This sold for, this was a great buy. We've had this in our death pile for over a year, and we finally got it listed, and it sold for $89.99. Now here's one thing I want to bring up too. I don't have international shipping right now turned on, and for some reason it was showing up that I was shipping to all these places. So you really need to look at some of your listings to make sure because I did calculated shipping. So no matter where it was going to be shipped to, it was still going to be calculated. But there are places in here that I will not ship to. And so I'm not sure why that is like that. But thankfully, I sold it within the U.S. and the buyer did pay shipping. And the last item I sold were these Guide R13 Chevy Taillight License Wagon Panel Glass Chrome for the Pear, Hot Rod, Rat Rod, taillight covers. These sold at a best offer. I had them listed for $225. I took a best offer of $150. And yes, I know that seems like a lot, but we really didn't pay hardly anything for these, and I was happy to move them along. They were pretty heavy. The buyer did pay shipping. I love selling pieces like this. They do sell. I have so many more auto lights that I need to get listed. This is something that Dad really had picked up over the years, and you know, he just had a sense that these were going to be good, and they are a good thing to buy. So if you can find these, even if you found just the glass itself, if it didn't have any of this other metal part on it and you just saw the glass panel, buy it if you can get it cheap enough, because it does sell. And you can see, let me see if I can zoom in, probably not, right up here it will tell you some information that you need to look it up. I don't think it's going to let me zoom in, but you see right up there, this one says Guide Co. And then I can't read what the rest of it says, but I'll have a serial number so it will be easier for you to look up. But they were in good condition. They were missing, one of them was missing a little bit of a bracket. You know, I still, even with these, kept the description short and sweet. Nice lenses, good trims. They both hinge. There's some pitting in the chrome. Please see all photos. But this was a very good sale. But I did sell these for a best offer of $150 plus shipping. All right, like I said, it was, you know, 38 items is a lot of things to sell during kind of a crisis that's going on in our country right now. And you know, you've noticed that a lot of the things that I have sold have been very low dollar items, but they do add up. I am in the process of getting rid of some things that I'm no longer buying. So I've marked them down and just trying to at least get my money back, or just provide some activity in my store, which is a very important thing. You need to keep your stores active, whether that be that you are updating old listings. You can go through and end listings and then hit sell similar, change things up a little bit, change the title, the wording in the title, make sure that you're using as many keywords in your title as possible, and you know, and relist them. You have all of these extra listings that you can take use of. So in some old listings, revamp them a little bit. If you have to take new pictures of them to make them bright and white, if you want to use the new eBay photo editor to make a crisp white background, you can play around with that a little bit, change your listings up a little bit, and you might be surprised that things that you've had for a while will start to sell, because that's kind of what I have found for me this week. So let's go ahead and I'll talk to you about my numbers. My total sales for this past week was $1,169.76. The amazing part of that is my sales were up 227.7% than last week. And like I said, I did sell a lot of lower item things, but right now I need to move this stuff out. I need to clear the stuff. I have a lot of stuff that I need to be listing. I have an entire antique store full of things that I will be listing. I'm just trying to move stuff out. I was very surprised with this week. Now, we're all going to be going kind of week to week to see how sales are going. You know, with eBay, sometimes you can have a really, really great week, and then the next couple weeks can be a little slim. So we're just trying to all get used to a new normal, and I think that you just can't give up. I know that times are going to be very, very hard right now, and a lot of you probably have, if you were doing reselling part-time, you've lost your full-time jobs temporarily, or unfortunately, maybe permanently. But take that time now to really build up your store. You're giving the tools and the opportunity to do it, so take advantage of that opportunity. And I hope that you all just hang in there. This will pass, and we will be able to get back to some sense of normalcy very soon. I hope you all are staying safe and staying home. and taking care of one another, and we'll get through this. So I will go ahead and say goodbye for now, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.